I was not ready for the plot twist that happened about halfway through the episode. I wasn't ready for that. I did not see that coming. We'll get to it. So one of the big, I guess there's like a conjoining of a couple of plot points here, because on the one hand, if you remember where Demerzel went into the mind of Gale and did the deep dive and realized that the darkness that Gale had seen beyond the mule in her thoughts, in her visions, was in fact Gale orbiting or in space, like around a black hole. Well, she ends up on New Terminus by the end of this episode, which is where the mule is currently located, trying to get into the, having this confrontation with Harry, which we'll get back to in a minute. And at the same time, this is going on, Empire reveals to Demerzel that planet-killing black hole bomb he's got. I think we're gonna blow up New Terminus because that's where the mule is, and I think that's gonna be the end of the season. If I had to guess, we've got two episodes left, I think. We'll see. Anyway, lots of stuff happening here. So on the one hand, you basically have the planets getting together and storming the castle and finding Empire and demanding that he hand over Terminus to, or not Terminus, Trantor. That he hand over Trantor to the mule, and he's like, "Fuck out of here! I'm not giving that up." And they storm out and tell him that, well, that's not up to you. This was just us giving you a heads up that that's what we're doing, so deal with it. And that's when he reveals to Demerzel, hey, I've got this bomb, which she didn't know about. He kept it secret from her. And this causes an existential crisis with Demerzel. Um, she starts to decant other, because she needs to decant all three of them, right? Because Dusk is supposed to be gone in like 2 days. Um, Day is gone, and Dawn is dead. Or so they think, because we got a reveal halfway through that Dawn is not in fact dead, which threw me for a freaking spin. I don't know where we're going with that loose end. Um, in any case, um, Empire, Dusk talks her down from the cliff of decanting, and he's like, "Look, I've got this bomb that we can use, and we can get rid of the threat of the mule, and then you'll have time to actually do things the proper way. Because if you decant everybody all at once, we're not going to have time to get them up to speed. They're going to be too young. They're not going to understand what they need to do. You're just speeding up our demise by reacting like this." And she realizes that he's right, and she's tortured by this because she's going to have to end a bunch of people's lives. Um, okay, now we have what's the other thread here? There's so many threads going on, man. We've got Day down in Mycogen on trial in front of this creepy dude who is from Da Vinci's Demons. That was the show that I couldn't remember. And somebody put it in the comments last week, which was thank you for that. They put him on trial and they tell him the story of the creation of robots. And he's got that robot head on a stick, right? Well, it turns out that robot head on a stick has got like this, it still has a little bit of life left in it. And it starts humming this song. And while he's on trial, he's trying to remember where he's heard this song before. And he finally realizes it's the lullaby that Demerzel used to hum to him when he was a boy. And he whistles this lullaby back to the robot head in the middle of the trial. And it opens up and tries to reach out and communicate. And this is when he's like, look, Demerzel is alive. I agree. I need to atone. My family needs to atone. My dynasty needs to atone. I can do that. Demerzel's the only one who can save humanity. Even though I hate her, I realize that she has been a slave to my dynasty. And it sounds like he's being genuine. I hope he's being genuine here. It could just be, him in desperation trying to save his own skin. But he's like, you know, robots used to all be part of one consciousness, and that thing is trying to reach out. Now, whether or not Demerzel is going to hear it is something I don't know yet. I was kind of hoping that was going to happen. I'm thinking it still might happen because of the fade to black we got at the end of the episode, which was literally trial going through, and the leader of this cult basically leaning down and telling him, "Oh, I believe every single word of what you told me, but I don't need my people knowing that God walks among them because it doesn't serve my interests. So screw you, you're gonna die." And they drop him into this pit of liquid where he's gonna get eaten alive over time. And that was literally the fade to black of the episode, was him falling into the pit, and we don't know his demise yet. But if I had to guess, Demerzel might hear and come rescue him. I don't know. I hope so. Even though he's done some vile things, I do think he's a legitimate. Um, he's legitimately trying to find his way back, and she actually needs him because he has the he's ruled before, and she's going to need him to help decant others. Because I don't think Dusk's going to be up to it because his mental faculties will start to fade because of his age. Um, Meanwhile, in the middle of all of this, there was the reveal that Day is still alive, and he wakes up. His legs are completely crushed. Who knows if he'll be able to walk again? He was stranded in space, and his suit, in order to conserve energy and keep him alive, literally like took his legs, crushed them, and like sucked the energy out into the suit to keep him alive. And then he was picked up by one of the mule's whisper ships and brought back to this facility, and he is in a prison hospital with Beta. Now, remember, she is a social climber, and she has been left behind by her boyfriend, who yeeted out in the last episode because he was about to get killed, and he was incredibly upset about leaving her behind. But you know, he left. He had to get out. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. And I see the way that she's looking at Empire, and I'm just not sure if I trust her. Also, we don't know if she's been converted by the mule or not. Maybe. I don't know. She appears that she might not be, because there's a point where the mule shows up and starts like torturing, like squeezing his leg and like demanding to know if he knows where Gale's base is, and he doesn't. And Beta's like, "You should leave him alone." And he turns around and he look at her in surprise, like, "How dare you talk back to me?" And then she he's like, "Okay, fine," and he leaves. Something that was really interesting that happened in this episode is, too, at the very beginning, the mule has this confrontation with the hologram of Harry Seldon and attempts to manipulate him mentally, and realizes that he can't because there's nothing there. It's just hologram. However, Seldon can in fact manipulate the mule, and he pulls him up into the air and causes his nose to bleed and his ears to bleed. And he's like, "I'm gonna figure out what your secret is, and then I'm gonna figure out how to use it." Um, so I don't know what's going on with that subplot yet. We'll find out at some point. Back on, what is it, New Terminus? I forget all the planets' names sometimes. There's so much going on. Gale is deciding that she's going to give over the leadership of the Second Foundation to our mute man, who, I love his hat. I really wish I could find this hat somewhere. That's a great hat. And she basically goes off with a task force, back to New Terminus to kill the mule. And I'm assuming they're going to meet with Pritchard there as well. Um, so there are some loose ends we've got to tie up over the last couple of episodes. One of which is, what's going to happen today? Is Demerzel going to rescue him? What's going to happen to Dawn, because he's still alive? Are they going to rescue him? And what about Empire, because he's still alive? Are we going to reunite the three, and those three, through their traumatic experiences, are going to create better rulers? I don't know. I do know, or at least I suspect, that they're going to be using the planet killing bomb on New Terminus to take out the mule, and that's why Gale is having that memory of blackness where she's floating in space. Um, so, yeah, lots more to see. 2 more episodes to go. I believe 2 more episodes to go? Yes, 2 more. And that's it. Can't wait. It's going to be a long 2 weeks. Look forward to it, though. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And I will see everybody in the next one.